Yo there guys, this is Cob. In this video it's just going to be a quick overview of what I think the key changes are in patch 5.2. Of course I'm going to focus on the Warlock ones the most and then maybe brush over some of the others, so yeah, let's get started. First of all, our spell lock no longer blanket silences the targets. It's now just a ranged interrupt, and this is without a doubt a nerf, but I'm actually happy about this. The same thing is happening to the mage's counterspell. It no longer is going to have that blanket silence, so what this is actually going to do is raise the skill cap of the mage and the warlock class. We can't just throw our silences out there to continue CC chain anymore. We've got to actually use our brains and land a full spell lock, and I really like that, to be honest. Blood Fear is gone. Well, it's not gone, but it's useless in 90% of the situations that you might be in. Blood Fear was overpowered and all it really needed was a longer cooldown and maybe a 15 or 20% health penalty, and for it not to replace your regular fear. But in 5.2 you cast Blood Fear on yourself, and what this does is it gives you a Blood Fear buff for 1 minute, and the next melee attacker to hit you will be feared instantly. This effect, which is useless in the vast majority of PvP situations, is going to cost you 20% of your health and be on a 30-second cooldown. In my opinion, this new supposedly anti-melee Blood Fear is not going to stop a kitty cleave or a TSG from tearing your limbs off. One fear every 30 seconds that actually costs you 20% of your health to use. I mean, I'd go as far to say that taking Blood Fear in 5.2 is actually a nerf to your character. But I'm happy with the change, or should I say removal of Blood Fear. It was actually a kind of stupid ability anyway, and I missed having to use my brain to land fears onto healers. So just like the spell lock change, this change is like raising the skill cap again. The next change is that Soul Leech now provides an absorption shield instead of healing you. Soul Leech was a horrible ability for PvP to begin with, and this is not going to change that. I can't imagine anyone using it. Dark Regen is just too superior. Sacrificial Pact now sacrifices 25% of our demon's health for the shield. It used to sacrifice 50%, which meant the shield would usually be around 170 to 200k depending on which pet you had out. This change is going to half that shield, which I really don't like. I mean, a 90k shield this is going to be now on a 1 minute cooldown, and that seems really weak, especially considering that a lot of the time in arenas cleaves just cut right through our Sacrificial Pact as it is. So after this nerf, Dark Bargain, maybe even Soul Link might be the way to go. Kil'jaeden's Cunning is now a passive talent with no activatable effect, if that's even a real word. A really small change, to be honest. Kil'jaeden's Cunning's on-use effect was really small anyway, so this doesn't change much. However, what I will say about Kil'jaeden's Cunning is that now the Blood Fear is gone, this talent is looking a lot better, just for landing CCs on healers, if we can run while casting our fears. Next, the passive effect from Achemonde's Vengeance no longer has a visual effect, and this is good. It looked awful anyway. Grimoire of Sacrifice had a slight damage nerf, only by 5%, and I don't think it's going to change anything. For RBGs and Arena, it's still going to be the best for the destruction spec. And the next change actually supports this, as when we sacrifice our Succubus, we're going to get Whiplash instead of a useless Seduction, and I really like this. I can see it being really useful against melee teams on arenas with a Y-axis. Glyph of Burning Embers and Glyph of Soul Shards have been made baseline for all Warlocks, which means we get 4 Burning Embers. It's kind of cool, but not a massive change. There's also a really interesting new glyph for the Destruction spec. This increases the healing of Ember Tap by 50%. And that's kind of huge, but I don't think I'll be going with it at the moment. Of course I won't know until I've tested it, but it's mainly because as a Destro lock, Ember Tap is a last resort heal. And you really want to be spending your embers offensively and not defensively. Now some other classes have been nerfed, which well, some of them I'm really happy about, some of them I think are actually fine and people shouldn't be whining so much, but I mean, checking mages, these are really minor nerfs. Their counterspell no longer blanket silences, as I mentioned earlier in the video. And honestly, no one should be complaining about that. Blanket silences are really kind of stupid, unless they're going to be on a huge cooldown, but anyway, the other change is that the Cold Snap heal has been halved, which I think is kind of nice, because I'm not a mage. They've also been, well, finally, there've also been some chunky buffs for the Elemental Shaman class. It's been really weak for the entire expansion, so it's really good to see this. The offensive cooldowns have been buffed here and there with some shorter cooldowns, but more importantly, Shamanistic Rage is now going to be given to Ellie Shamans as well as enhancements, so that's a 1 minute cooldown mini shield wall. And Stone Bulwark Totem also absorbs 25% more damage. So yeah, really good changes there. I'm really glad that that happened for the Elemental spec. Displacer Beast has finally been nerfed for druids. Not only was it slightly overpowered from the 30-second vanish that druids basically had, but it also made druids horrible to fight, as in it just wasn't fun basically. For example, having to reset a restoration druid on your focus target every 30 seconds. Because when you stealth with Displacer Beast, that would actually clear it, but now it doesn't have the stealth effect anymore, and yeah, this is really, really good. And also the most beautiful change I've ever seen, and this is why I'm really, really happy with this patch. I fucking love it. Shockwave's cooldown has been doubled to 40 seconds. Thank fucking god for that. Like seriously, I fucking hated Shockwave, my god. Oh, and Second Wind has also been nerfed. The self-healing's been reduced by 1%, but that might not sound like much, but the healing at the moment is 3% of their health per second once they drop under 35%. That down to 2% is actually, when you think about it, a 33% healing nerf. I mean really guys, I really, really like this patch. This patch would be the best patch in the history of WoW if I wasn't scared of what was coming for rogues. And rogues are basically getting preparation back as a baseline ability. So that's the double smoke bombs coming back, the double vanishes. So yeah, be scared guys. I mean, I'm definitely not saying that it shouldn't happen. I think rogues do need a major buff to be made competitive again. And if I'm really honest, I'd much rather be killed in a well-timed smoke bomb by a rogue than just being one-shotted by a warrior who just popped a one-shot macro, you know? I'm just saying beware guys, because rogues are going to come back with a vengeance if all these changes go through as they are now. Alright, anyway, if you want to check out the rest of those changes, I've linked the patch notes in the description. I've had an awesome Christmas break, I hope all you guys did too. Got myself a new headset. I'm going to get back to making Warlock content, back to work. Expect more Warlock videos really soon, as well as the Odd Forge video. I'm going to make some introductory clips for that. But for now, stay Destro everyone, and I'll see you all in the next clip.